All right, here's the the video for Unit 6, Lesson 4. And like I said in class, we're going to take a break from graphing and we're just going to work on some word problems, okay? So what I need you to remember is slope-intercept form. We talked about slope-intercept form in Lesson 3. And slope-intercept form is this guy here, y equals mx plus b, where b, the number at the end, is your y-intercept. And then m, so the number in front of x is your slope. So usually that number in front of m is a fraction. Usually we think of slope as a fraction, rise over run, but sometimes it's not a fraction. So we can actually use this equation to solve word problems, okay? It doesn't always have to be about graphing. So what I'm going to get you to do for every word problem here, I'm going to give you some information and we are going to create an equation that looks like this. Okay, so every equation is going to have two variables in it. So usually we have y and x. The reason we always use y and x is because graphs have the y and the x-axis. But for these questions, there might be different variables depending on what we're talking about. Okay, so for example, the SRC held a dance last Thursday. No, they didn't because we don't have dances anymore because of COVID, but I made this a couple of years ago. But imagine we still had dances. A ticket was $5, okay? So the SRC charged $5 if a kid wanted to buy a ticket, okay? But the DJ was $300, which the SRC had to pay for themselves. So the SRC collected $5 per student. So they were able to bring in $5. But then they had to pay out, so they had to give away $300 to pay the DJ. Write an equation for the profit P and the sales T. So this equation tells us to use the variables P and T. Now, 99% of the time, the first variable I give you, the capital one, the first one I state in the sentence, will be how we start our equation. So it's going to be P equals. So P represents the profit or how much money the SRC is going to make off of this dance. Now, we know that they will get $5 for every ticket they sell. So for example, if they sell 100 tickets, they will collect 100 times 5 or $500. But then once they collect all that money, they have to remove or give away or pay out $300. So we have to subtract $300 from their ticket sales because they have to use that money to pay the DJ. So there's our equation. P equals 5T minus 300. Suppose 123 people bought tickets to the dance. What would be the SRC's profit? So we know 123 people bought tickets, or in other words, our tickets equal 123 sold. So if we just plug that in, wherever we see a T in our equation, there's our equation, okay? All we have to do is use BEDMAS, order of operations, to figure that out. So you're gonna go 5 times 123, and you're gonna get 615. That's how much money they brought in from ticket sales, but remember they have to pay the DJ $300. So in the end, the SRC gets to keep $315. Suppose the profit was $450. At the end of the day, they made $450. How many tickets does that mean that they sold? So in our equation, profit equals 5T minus 300. We are now going to replace P, profit, with 450 because that's what we were given. And we are looking for how many tickets were sold. Okay? Hi, sweetheart. Good night, babe. Have a good sleep. Okay, so to solve for T, we are going to add 300 to both sides. So now on the left-hand side, 450 plus 300 is 750. And that equals 5T, and this goes away. And then to solve for T, we're going to divide each side by 5. So 750 divided by 5 equals 150, and that equals how many tickets we sold. Okay, last one for this one. Okay. Could the SRC's profit ever be $146 exactly? Well, let's see. If we replace profit with 146 and we fill in the rest of the equation and we add 300 to both sides, on the left we would get 446 equaling 5t. Now, if we went to go solve for t and divide each side by 5, 446 divided by 5 does not divide nicely. You would get a decimal. So you would get 89.2. Now, it is impossible to sell that many tickets. You cannot sell 0.2 of a ticket. So no, it would be impossible for this to ever be their profit. I'm drawing on my computer, yeah. Okay. For Chantel's birthday party, her mom orders 4 slices of pizza per person plus 10 extra slices for backup. Okay, write an equation for the total number of slices of pizza, S. So like I said, the first letter I show you, or the capital letter, is usually how we start our equation. So S represents the total number of slices of pizza she's ordering. And the number of people at the party is going to be represented by P. So we know that she is going to order 4 slices per person.
Oh, just 4.
Shh, honey, shh. I know that's a 4. 4 slices per person. But then we also know that she is ordering an extra 10 pieces as backup in case someone's very hungry. So suppose there were 17 people at the party. So the people is 17. So we have slices being equal to 4 times 17, right? 4 slices for each person, and there's 17 people plus 10. So all you do now is do bed math. So 4 times 17 equals 68. But then she has those 10 for backup. So in total, she's going to order 78 slices if there were 17 people at the party. Suppose the total number of slices purchased was 114. So now we know how many slices were purchased, so 114. How many people does that mean were there? Well, we know the other half of the equation looks like this. So I just replaced slices, S, with 114. Oh, why did I go plus 100? Excuse me, plus 10. Now, to solve for P, we're going to minus 10 to both sides. So we have 104 equaling 4P. We divide each side by 4, and that we get 26 equals the number of people, or P. So in order for her to have ordered 114 slices, that means there were 26 people at that party. In this scenario, would Chantel's mom have ever needed to buy 123 slices? So is it ever possible that the number of total slices she buys is 143? Well, let's plug that into our equation. I did 100 again. What am I doing? And let's see if it works out. Okay, so when we minus 10 to both sides, we get 113 equals 4P. My final step here would be to divide by 4. But when you go 113 divided by 4, again, you get a decimal and you get that 28.25 equals P, or the number of people. So yes, no, that's not possible, because it is not possible that you have 0.25 of a person there. It's either 28 people or 29 people. All right. Jory signs up at Evolution Fitness, so a gym. He has to pay an initial sign-up fee of $99. So when he signs up for the gym, just a one-time fee of $99, but then he has to also pay $38 a month. He can quit the gym at any time, but he has to pay a month in full. So for example, if he quits halfway through a month, he still has to pay for that full month. So always paid in full months. So write an equation that represents the total cost, C, and the number of months, M, that Jory goes to the gym. So we want to figure out what would Jory's cost be to join this gym. Well, we know that he is going to pay $38 per each month that he's a member. That's for sure. But we also know that we have to tack on that $99 fee that he paid. So this represents how much he'll pay to the gym in total. $38 per month plus that one-time $99 fee. If Jory quits the gym after only 2.5 months, how much did he end up paying? So let's figure out his cost. If the number of months is 2.5, But here's the problem. I just explained that you cannot just quit the gym halfway through a month. You have to pay for that month in full. So if he quits the gym after 2.5 months, he still has to pay for that third month in full. So M equals 3. So he has to pay for 3 full months at $38 per month. So that's what we're going to do first, is figure out what's 38 times 3. And that's $114. But then we're going to add that $99 that he paid at the beginning, right? And so we find out that his cost then, the cost for him to have been part of that gym for those 2.5 months is $213. If Jory ended up paying $631, so we know at the end of the day, he paid $631 in fees. How many months does that mean he was signed up for? Okay, so the cost is replaced with 631. And then we have to now recopy the right-hand side of the equation and solve for M. So in order to do that, we have to subtract 99 to both sides. When we do that, we get 532 on the left-hand side, equaling 38M. Now your final step would be to divide off that 38M on both sides. So when you divide off 38, you get 14 equals M. So that means for him to have paid $631 at the end of the day, that means he was a member for 14 months. Would it be possible for Jory to have paid $227? All right, so his cost is $227. Okay, so let's see if that ever works out. Let's see what our answer ends up being and see if it makes sense. So $227, I'm going to take away 99 from both sides. So on the left, you'll now get 128 equaling 38M. Now, if you divide each side by 38, on the left-hand side, you get 3.36 equals the amount of months. Now, I already explained earlier that you can only pay for a month in full. So he would have had to either pay for 3 months or 4 months in this situation, but he would never have paid for 3.36 months. If he quit the gym after 3.36 months, so that's maybe 3 months and I don't know, 10 days or so, they would still have made him pay for 4 months. So this price doesn't make sense. That wouldn't have happened. Okay, so that's how you do it. So every question is kind of the same. You have to create that equation. It's always going to look the same way, kind of like that y equals mx plus b form. And then you just kind of plug in the values as they give them to you. For the assignment, it's in 2 parts. So you have 3 textbook questions. So page 14 and, or sorry, number 14 and 16 on page 363, and also page 389, number 14. And then also I gave you guys this handout. Just a little hint, when you are tackling this question here, which is number 16 on page 363, it talks about 5%. When you plug that into your equation, you do not plug 5 into the equation. When we're talking about percentages, we have to change that to a decimal. So whenever it gives you a percentage like 5%, what you do is you divide that by 100. And that gives you the decimal value. And this is what you use in your equation, not the 5. Okay? I want you to remember that because on your exam, there is a question with percentages, and a lot of students forget to do this division by 100 part. Okay? All right. Good luck. Let me know if you have any questions.